Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Sam Fogelgaren. I'm the web editor for the Post 21 Club, and today really happy to be joined by Moish Tov, the founder and director of Joydo, and you'll be learning a lot more about Joydo through this interview. And this is the first of our interview series. We'll be talking with leaders in the adult autism community in Bergen County and throughout New Jersey, so that you can learn more about what's available, what's being done, and about how you can either get more involved or get the services that you need for yourself or your family members. So let's get right into this. Thank you so much, Moish, for joining us today. I really appreciate it. So I guess let's just start. What's your professional background, and how does that sort of translate into the work you're doing today with Joydo?
It's an interesting question because there are not a lot of connection. I think that my background is I've been an entrepreneur for many years. I had my own software company that I built and from scratch, and before that I was a little bit in the medical device area, which is not related, and like any good Israeli, spent 13 years in the army, in the IDF. So the only thing that connects to what I'm doing now is I'm an entrepreneur. And what we're doing over here is a startup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. So I guess going from that, what prompted you to start Joydo, and then and I guess in general, how did you get involved in career training for people with autism?
I have two boys on the spectrum, Tal and Gil. Tal is 23. He's in the program now. Gil is still in school. He's 21. This is his last year of school. Sometimes about 10 years ago, when we start to look around and to think about what's going to be the future of Tal and Gil after we get to 21, we decide to first look around. And the first thing that I did is actually go to different places and try to find a good program. I'm not the only parent, there are more parents, and I had the assumption that someone find like a good solution. And a good solution for me is a place that you can live up to the potential like any other person. So I did start with a small visiting a few programs, and to move into actually big surveys that we did in 26 countries in 6 states in the United States. We're looking into different type of post-21 programs. And what we found out that actually there is not a lot. And more we spoke with parents, we saw that it's almost like a cliff. When you get 21, you're going through a good education, if you have good school and full day program, and then post-21 services are, I would say, services that invented in the 30s or 40s of previous century, and still going today. So after we conclude that there is no problem with that, we started to think about, okay, what we want to do. And it took a while to figure out what we want to do. It wasn't, it's a complex issue, the post-21. You have to look into many different things. So even you, myself, you pass the 21 and we know that we have to make a lot of decisions about education, about what kind of work we want to do, where we want to live. It's a complex issue. And when we look at that, we said, okay, how can we take this community of adults with autism and give them potential? We had to look on the big picture and then figure out one things that we want to do out of the many things
Sure.
that should be done. And that took a while. And by the end, what happened actually was not planned.
In what way?
I was born in Israel. I live here for many years. And my kids are American. I went to Israel for a visit because one of the guys that was with me in the army, within the special forces, his son got killed in Israel. I'm sure you know that there is ongoing war over there. So we met with all the different. I met with the team, my small team, which I hadn't seen for a long time. And I told them that I have two sons with autism and I'm looking for something to do it. And everybody jumped and said, okay, we want to help. In the same time, the Israeli intelligence community, the Mossad, had a problem. And the problem they had is that they didn't have a good way to analyze satellite pictures.
Okay.
I knew that our kids, I call them kids, or people with autism, they do have their own strengths, and they compensate for other strengths. So some of them has very good vision. So we put one-to-one together, and we got a group of kids and some people that help us. My generation is pretty much the one that run the country today, so we got pretty much a green light from the head of the Mossad who said, okay, you prove me that it works, then I'm going to take them. So we started with 10 people over there. We taught them how to read the satellite. And we got into the unit of doing it, and we created a special environment for them, what we call the autism-friendly environment. And they started work. And after, I believe, 4 or 6 months, the results showed that they are 3 times more productive and 4 times more accurate from the peers. So the guy said, even more. Today they have 100. So that was the start. There was a couple of things over there that didn't work for me. first one is my kids, Talenville, they're not durable.
Mhm.
They're using the iPad to communicate.
Mhm.
And the IDF doesn't take people that not non-verbal.
Okay.
Besides that, they're in New Jersey,
Mhm.
they're not in Israel. So I came over here and said, okay, taking the experience from there. And first the decision was, okay, we'll focus on employment. So they will have a place that they can come and work with people like themselves, so they have community and social life, and they will have job training on high level
Okay.
job training because they have strengths. So we developed a tool to identify the type of strengths that they have.
Okay.
That was the first thing we did. And we ran it on the first group, check it. Then I was looking for some kind of job that resembled what we did in Israel. I didn't want to go to the CIA.
Okay.
I don't have connection over there and they're far away. But actually, we got idea from one of the grandparents.
Hmm.
And I met many parents and families in this journey. And he told me that might work in breast cancer early screening.
Hmm.
Because it's pretty much the same type of technique. You look into image of the breast of a woman. There is an old one that has been taken like last year, and then she's coming for a new one, and you compare between the two to see if there is changes without the early screen. So we start with that, and we have a small career center in Morris County that we're going to bring over here.
Hmm.
And we teach a group of 10 people, 10 young adult with autism, that I would say 7 out of 10 are non-verbal. We teach them how to compare between man and woman and the radiologist. So they do the screening and they mark the differences between one image and the other,
Mhm.
and then the radiologist can do the diagnosis.
Okay.
And the concept behind it is that it saves a lot of time to the radiologist because he should do the diagnosis and not the screening.
Okay.
And it gives him about 60% more time. And with that, we're increasing the accuracy of this early diagnosis by 10 to 15%.
Wow.
Which is quite a bit. Yeah. So we start with that, and then we want to get into a bigger program. That place that we found. At that time, we met with 21 Club.
Okay.
We've been introduced, and that was a very, very good thing that happened to us. To which was post we met with a group of parents that pretty much has the same vision as we do for their kids, and they were looking for different ways to do it and providing them choices,
Mhm.
which is exactly what we're looking for. And we are one of the choices. And they're helping us. They helped us and they're helping us in many ways. And they were very significant part in getting this place up and running by advice and the grant that they provide us and a lot of other support. It's like suddenly I have a group of people that can ask questions and they know what I'm talking about and we can brainstorm. So that is the long story of how we get here. But what we are doing here is We actually call it Talent and Career Development Center.
Okay.
We develop the talent of our members, and then the career side, we want to train them in about 15 different jobs, all of them technology and medical related.
Okay.
So one I told you, and there's 4 or 5 that we're going to start here in the next month or so. We see that all of this adult has strengths, and when we talk about the strengths, is that you compare their strengths in this area to the peers. They are competitive
Mhm.
to the peers. You just need to have the right environment and the right way to train them to do the work, and then to deliver the work, and then they can do much better in some areas than the peers. So the beliefs over here is strength, find it, find the key and the way how to teach it,
Mhm.
working out of communication, because in our group we have very well non-verbal, so we work out of communication, this is basic. Teach them the job, teach them the social skills, and let them start work while they have this program running, so it's an integrated program.
How do you see the Joy-Do model as different than a lot of the other programs that you've either seen or experienced? Like, what are some things that you learned from seeing those programs and applied to Joy-Do?
I would say that we're building a new paradigm.
Okay.
I haven't seen a program like this.
Okay.
If I would, most likely I would just take my kids, my boys, and said, okay, you go to this program.
Mhm.
But I haven't seen this kind of stuff, especially for the non-verbal communication, non-verbal group. But even on the one that's called high functioning, only 4% of them are being employed. So if you want to get them employed, you have to find what's stronger, but you have to create an environment that will support their needs.
Mhm.
And if you don't create this environment, they cannot survive in other environments.
Sure.
So the model that we have, which is a combination of like continue developing the talent, plus the job, and plus give them a place to work, and they're going to work for us, and we will outsource their work to other ones. So it's like they pretty much stay in the same environment with the same friends, and they have social life and work like anybody else.
Sure.
Just in an environment that is their environment that they feel comfortable. And so this model, I haven't seen.
Mhm.
This is a model that we built, not the one that we invented, and we think that it's going to be a very good model, and we want to see it as one of the choices. Now, I believe in choices,
Mhm.
so I hope that other people will come with other models,
Mhm.
but like 21st century models, not 20th centuries or
Mhm.
19th centuries. Because today they're working on like 19th century models,
Mhm.
which is babysitting.
Yeah.
And they're smart and they have everything. This is like, the way that I look on this many times is like said, there are a person and he has diabetes.
Mhm.
How do we call him? He's a human being. He has diabetes. We don't call it like diabetes colon or anything. He has
Mhm.
diabetes. Something with autism. They're a human being. And they have a medical condition called autism. Beside that, They're like us. And if you treat them like that and you put them like stigma that, okay, autistic, it's like the whole, and there is no human being inside of it, you're missing out. Now, for me, it's personal because I have two boys. But we have to think about the fact that there are 2% of the population today in the US and Europe are people on the spectrum. So 2% of 300 plus million in the US, you do the math.
Yep.
This is 2% per year that they are born. Every year we have 2% new born on the spectrum. You do the accumulation of this, it's big numbers. And these big numbers now start to come out of the education system. And they looking for places and they don't have enough programs. And on the other side, they have the talent and the technology world that I come from looking for this talent. Okay, so get the two together. Not the place that we can make a lot of impact. And if it's going to work on the model that Joy do now, it's great. If someone will come with another model that's working, it's great too. We just want to have as many options possible for this talent pool and this human being to have life.
Excuse me, I just need to grab my lunch.
Sure. Yeah, what's interesting is that you know I've like you have had a lot of sort of personal family experience with the the under 21 and now the post 21 world of childhood autism and then adult autism and I think what's different about what you're describing is it's just really an extension of how job training and career training works for the so-called typical population, and just applying it to people with some different needs and requirements, but like anyone else, it's focusing on strengths and focusing on how people can succeed, which is what is sort of the de facto focus for anyone. And people with autism are also anyone. They're just
Yes. You're absolutely right. And this is tough. That one of the challenges that we have is to break the stigma. And there is a stigma that's been for many years about people with autism that somehow connect the fact that they have autism to their unique abilities or abilities. It's not the first time that it happened. So, for example, the community of deaf and mute, they had the same problem. Like until the 80s, they considered to be with cognitive deficiencies just because they can't come over. I think that the great example, and I'm like part of it, is the immigration, the immigrators. So, when I came from Israel to the US, I had a very bad English. It's not what I have today. I great English and I have the accent. But you come, you're full of knowledge and everything. You just don't have the utility to express it.
Right.
Okay. And then people look at you as like you are not smart. You don't have potential. And you don't do what you have to do. And I think that's, that one thing that when I try to talk to other people is to tell them is to make the analogy between different groups, and then to say, okay, look on this as they're a group of human beings which have medical condition, and like any other ways that we're treating it, we treat it. But then take them and give them the chance to live for their potential, like anybody else.
So what's next for JoyDo? What do you see as the future, the sort of the continuation of the model that you're building now?
It's like in the short term we want to get within the year that the group that we have over here will start to be employed maybe for a few days a week or somebody for full times. So this is like the short term, but the long term is like we have to have multiple locations
Okay.
around New Jersey, around the United States, around the world, and take this model any place and get as many people from with autism and not with autism to get into this kind of programs and let them have a life and let their families have a life. So we're not looking into just like, okay, we have one location over here and that. We want to see it like growing and getting to thousands, 10,000s of people, and we hope that in the same time other groups will come with different ways of getting employment, which is great for us. The demand is so big,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's not like we need to be there. And about 2 years ago, there was a meeting at the United Nations on April 1st, which is the Autism Day, and it was like the day was about employment, and a lot of people with different ideas came over there, big companies, small companies, and I hope that this group together, like the one decision or the one goal that all of us took from this is that we want to create 1 million employment places for people on the spectrum. So I think that if all of this group, and there was over there like Microsoft, Google, JoyDo,
Sure.
big different ideas, which is fine. But everyone that believes that they can contribute and they can be competitive, can. That is one thing that all of this group believe. It's not for charity, it's because they have the talent and they can do it better than someone. So if that would work, I want JoyDo to be a main player in that, and I want to see other one doing it and join the same. The one challenge that we have to get over, there are many challenges, but one thing that we need, and this is one of the great things that I see in our collaboration with Post 21 Club, is that this kind of thing cannot be done by one man or one company. We need a village.
Yep.
And the village are the parents, because the parents are the ones that care about it. I would not get to any kind of, let's say, this is bad or good, it doesn't matter. We are the parents, we are the ones who care about it, and we have to come together, and we have to agree about what we're doing, and we have to do it. And right now, each one of us fight by himself. And it's like we reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
And there are millions. So, there are 6 million families in the U.S. today with people on the spectrum. And we have to get together and say, okay, we want that our kids will have a future, and we want the families to have a future. We want a sibling to have a future. We know that to be a sibling for someone who is autistic, it's not easy, and you don't get a lot of help. and you're always last on the list.
Mhm.
And this is not good for anyone. And we want to find a way to get more and more people involved in this, agree about what we want to achieve, and if each one will give something into it, we can move. And that is the nice things about what we're doing and what Post 21 is doing. Post 21 is focused on very different choices. We are one of the choices that they see as a valid one. And they have the network of the parents. We're helping them to expand the network and to get more parents into the network. So we can both benefit from this network. But these two organizations, each one is doing something different, but we're completing each other. And I think this is great. And I hope that together with Post 21 Club, we can build this village
Mhm.
that will take Joyview and other organizations. So our families and our kids, young adults, and the brothers and sisters and friends will have a good future.
I absolutely hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being our first interview, and thank you everyone for watching. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you found this very informative. Definitely give any feedback you have, or if you have any follow-up questions, and we'll see you soon. So thank you.